Quite late to the party with Sicario, but I'm glad to say that I enjoyed it very much. It's a really good film. If you want to hear my detailed thoughts, stay tuned until after the intro. Hi, my name's Drew. Welcome to another review video on my channel. As I already mentioned, I'm talking about Sicario today, which is a film I actually did not hear about when it came out back in 2015 or 2014, I'm not quite sure now, one of the two. But I heard about it over the last few years. It was mentioned in various places as an example of a good film. So it's been on my list. I bought the Blu-ray a while ago, finally managed to watch it yesterday. And I remember during the credits, one of the reasons it was mentioned was because of the director, who is of course Denis Villeneuve. And I like his films. I love Blade Runner 2049. I liked Arrival quite a lot. I am obviously looking forward to Dune very much because I am a fan of Dune. I've read some of the books. And I'm one of those people who loves the film from the 80s. So I'm a real big fan of his work, and I must say that Sicario is another great film of his. It seems to be a bit of a theme in the films that I've been watching recently, that they often have grey areas, or that's what they're about. And I suppose it's very reflective of life, because life isn't just black and white, it is always somewhere in the middle, I find at least. So this is another one of those films. The basic plot that I can give you, of course I'll stay spoiler free, but the basic plot is that you have Emily Blunt. She is a SWAT team member. She actually deals with kidnappings, and she stumbles upon a case where there's a crossover with drugs and the Mexican cartel, and she starts cooperating with, I'll call them rather secretive agents, and is assisting them to try and take down these cartels. And the problem is that she is someone who works by the book, so she wants to do everything within the boundaries of the law. And as they explain in the film, the boundaries have been shifted, so they're doing some very dodgy things that really make her question her integrity and how she wants to proceed. So it's a very exciting character piece about her in that way. Very tense. So it's you could say it's a thriller, I suppose. So it's more of an action thriller. So you've got a lot of, obviously with police and drugs and all these things, as you can expect, you've got a lot of gunfights, of course, and generally a lot of action. That's actually one thing that I want to pick up on is the directing, of course, which was great. You've got many scenes with moving vehicles, for instance, action shots, and I just love the direction. I just love what Denis Villeneuve is doing with the camera here. I'm not a real big fan of sort of car chases and that. In most films, I won't be too excited about them. Yes, I'm not a big fan of car chases, but there's definitely a lot of car stuff going on in at least the first half of this film, and I liked all of it. It's just wonderful to see how creative people can be with the camera. Just changing some slight things make it more enjoyable in different ways. Staying with the direction, one of the things that I was really impressed by in this film is all sorts of depictions of the sky. You've got many scenes that are at either dusk or dawn, and just the shots themselves are some of the most beautiful ones I have seen of a skyline just at that time of the day. There's one scene in particular where you've got the agents, they're sort of going off on their mission and sort of disappearing. You see the bright horizon, and then they're sort of just disappearing into the lower half of the screen, which is completely dark. And it's just such a beautiful image how he did that. I just loved all of them. Really amazing shots. The other thing that's really great about this film is the acting. So you've got Emily Blunt. She is the protagonist. She is the main focus. Does an excellent job. I really like seeing her in films. Pretty much at the same time, Edge of Tomorrow came out as well, I'm pretty sure, and I really liked her in that film. If you liked her in that, I would say you'll definitely like her in this as well. She's got, as I mentioned previously, quite big of a struggle internally because she wants to do the right thing, and there's this ongoing topic in the film, that the way they do it, you know, they've had success, but it's still not really working on a grand scale. So the more guys they catch, it seems like just the more of them just appear, just pop up. It's like a hydra, you know, cut off one head and then two sprout from it. And so that's why she feels compelled to go on this journey. But like I say, she struggles with the whole thing, and it's great just watching her. She's got many great scenes where you also get the feeling it's a bit of she might be the only woman in the room, and while it's not something that's directly addressed, except in one scene where she's asked if she's got kids and a husband, it's also a bit about her trying to best her male colleagues, as it were. So she's fabulous. Then you've also got Josh Brolin. He's this very secretive guy. You're not quite sure who does he actually work for, and who's given him all the power that he seems to possess. He's good. I like Josh Brolin. He's great in this role as well. I mean, he's not really a nice guy. Quite the opposite, actually. But he does it well, and he does have moments where he tries to sort of find an agreement with Emily Blunt's character, and there he tries to add, I'll call them some maybe fatherly tones, you could call it, I suppose. He's only got very few scenes where he's not just a gruff guy, but it's still, there's some nuance in his performance. And then you have Benicio Del Toro, who is also involved in this whole thing, and he's just basically a beast. But in a really good way. So his character, he's a bit like an unstoppable force in this film, so any obstacle that's put in his way, he just goes through. And I like Benicio Del Toro. I don't really see him as having too much of a variety when it comes to, especially with this role, there's not much of a variety there, but I think that he portrays this type of character really well. So while it may seem a bit one note, I feel that he's still putting all that he has into it. The film is set in Texas and in Mexico, so you have those kind of areas there. Again, it's a drug-related story, so obviously you've got very many communities that have been run down by this problem. That's shown very well, and it's one of those things. It's particularly, you see scenes in Mexico, and you see that they have gunfights there every day, and you see how the regular people, they become so used to it that they're hardly even fazed by it. It's quite something. I'm really happy. It makes me really happy that I don't live in such an area, and you really feel for the ordinary people. It's one thing that's explored in this story, how it's not just about the drug bosses and the cops trying to get them. It's also how these big cartels, how they affect even small individual people who are just trying to get by. They might not even have chosen this path in their life, it may have been forced upon them. And so this is obviously where all this grey stuff comes in. And it's a great film to examine your moral values, and it's a great question to ask, how far do you go to try and beat the drug cartels and the system that they have built, or they're trying to build. In that sense, it's not really such an uplifting film. So bear that in mind. It's not the one where you have the big great happy ending or something like that, because obviously the whole thing throughout the film, again, is quite a grey area. It's a great film, you've got great action. I enjoyed all of that stuff, so there's definitely no complaints there. The only complaints I really have, I mean, the music, I'm not complaining about the music, it's just that it didn't really pop out at me. There wasn't anything there that made me go, oh wow, this fits nicely, or this really adds something to the scene. So it was just standard affair in my opinion. The only thing that was weird, and this isn't actually the film's fault, but still happens sometimes with some films, my Blu-ray for some reason, when they're speaking Spanish, because they speak some Spanish in this film, not very much, but they do, and the Blu-ray for some reason doesn't automatically provide subtitles for those scenes. So I watched in English, but the Spanish things are not translated in any way, and I find that mildly annoying because it forces me to activate subtitles for the whole film, which seems quite unnecessary. So I don't know why companies do that. For me, that's part of the job description really. You're making sure that your audience can watch a film, so if the film switches languages in between, then you should provide subtitles in the language that the majority of the film is watched in. But yeah, like I say, that's not something you can blame the film for. It's the people who made the Blu-ray. Overall, a very good film. Like I say, I would highly recommend it. I'm not sure, I believe there's a second part. I don't know what that's like. I'll have to look into that. I don't have it. I might get to see it sometime. But if you like Denis Villeneuve, if you like action films with drug-related stories and that, definitely watch this one. It's very powerful. Like I say, got some great character work there, particularly from Emily Blunt. And I will leave you with that. I'll thank you for liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel for more film reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye.